Hello and welcome to Carmageddon Rogue Shift, a racing game that for once isn't a simulation type with GT3 cars, but instead an arcade racing game with a number of weapons and a variety of vehicles and a number of tracks. And in this video I'm going to explain to you what you get when you purchase the game for £32.99, including this. That's right, get used to the bullshit physics in this game, you're going to need it. Now when you get to the game's main menu screen, you'll notice that there's only one game mode. Think of this as the game's story mode slash career mode. However, it plays more like a survival mode than anything. That means you cannot create no single player race, no tournaments, no championship, there's no co-op, no multiplayer. Now, for the first couple of hours, it's not too bad. But doing this with 15 other vehicles, the game will get tedious quite quickly. Now, upon starting the game, you'll be greeted by this screen, made infamous by Helldivers. This will be by your perks, your vehicles, and any variation of weapons that you're after. A pro tip though, only buy what you like, because when it comes to the shop, these are randomized on what you can select, but more on that later. If you look on the top right, you'll see the purple coins, kind of like the beat coins I believe it's called. This is what you purchase, so when you buy a certain amount, you get to the next page, like other games. And yep, that's a BFG. Now if you press R1, you see the little trophy section, which is quite nice because it means you can track it, where you can unlock more stuff like cars, perks, and coins. However, if you look to the right, you'll notice it's 100%. Yeah, don't bother doing that. You don't unlock anything. It's just there to gloat. And now for the 15 unique vehicles in the game. You may not be able to change the colour of the paintwork, but one thing is they all handle differently, which is very nice. You also notice they each have a starting weapon, which can be changed out through the game. They also have special perks, again, can be changed, but it's very nice to give them a little identity. And now to start the game's main mode, which is pretty simple. Start from the left, make your way to the right, via any route you want to take. Once you see that purple skull, it means you're in for a boss fight. These are usually head-to-heads with little minions nearby, and there's 3 rounds of this before you complete the game. Oh, and just for the record, you only have 1 life. That little spanner symbol at the top which says 100%. However, you can quit and continue. Now this symbol here is your weapons shop. Now inside the shop, the weapons are always randomized, and you can choose to restock them at the bottom. If you look closer at the weapon, you'll notice that in the top right corner of the little symbol, there's Roman numerals. This is the level at which they are. Now, they do all act differently, but I will tell you now, they're not balanced at all, and you'll find your favorite ones very, very quickly. Now, this crowbar symbol gets you a little free mini game, which you pick any container you want, and whatever item pops out, you keep. However, there's a chance that zombies will come out and attack you, which means anything you got here, you will lose. So you can leave whenever you want and keep all those items. Kinda nice and kinda cool. Another type of shop is the workshop. Now this is where you choose your perks, and just like the weapons, they also have levels in the top right represented by Roman numerals. And again, you can restock them and change them out. However, I would advise just go for full on damage or health regen, as these will make the last boss fight a hell of a lot easier. There are in fact 3 types of races in the game. The first one you see on your screen is called Survival Race, where you have to survive for 2 laps. However, what's different is that there's more police cars, more zombies, and more monster traps you could call them in the race, which try and slow you down. But in all honesty, it's actually a great race to make money. It's not that difficult, and there's plenty of health pickups along the way, so I would highly advise to do this if you want to make some quick buck. The second type of racing is what's called elite racing. In elite racing, the AI is a lot harder, more aggressive, more challenging, there's more zombies. It's kind of similar to survival. However, you have to come first no matter what. Come second, third, or any other position, and you're knocked out the tournament. You do get more money for this, but at the same time, the risk and reward is not really worth it, because any little slight weapon or any mishap and you're pretty much knocked out. Now when it comes to normal races, your main objective is to come top 3. Anything higher and you're eliminated. In fact, you're eliminated from the whole tournament and have to start all over again, which is the premise of this game. The easiest way to defeat your opponents is to blow them up. However, it's not like Wreckfest where they die. They'll in fact respawn again and continue the race. And if it's you on the receiving end of beating, you have a couple of seconds before you actually die to pick up a health kit. Once you pick up a health kit, it gives you another chance. Think of it like a last stand. Well, that's what the game calls it anyway. And now for the controls. Well, for a controller anyway, because currently there's no support for steering wheel. However, that is coming in the future update, which is quite nice. Now, like most racing games, your R2 is to accelerate, your L2 is to brake, your circle is to handbrake, and your X is to use your boost. And you can tell you got a boost when one of the canisters in the bottom right next to your rev meter is filled up, and then you can boost your heart away. Now with the L1 button, you can quickly move left. With the R1, you can quickly move right. Not only can you attack opponents, but you can dodge lock on missiles, just like that clip there. Now when you move the R3 button, you can look around your vehicle. And it's quite nice at high speed, you can see damage of your vehicle as well. I like it. When you press up, you can change the camera angles. And yeah, that jumping is what the game looks like when you change camera angles. It's really annoying. Now these vehicles will happily glide along the road at high speed. What will get you is the shit fucking physics. Like that. Want to boost up the side of a drivable wall? Not good luck. You just can get spun around. Want to take a jump? Same thing. You land and you go flying somewhere else. Even sometimes slowing down can be a problem. Here's the AI trying to control my car while slowing down. The good news is, however, is that if you get stuck in a situation like this, you hold down the down button and you can respawn. It does have a cooldown, however. And if you look at the bottom of the weapons, you'll see it just there. There is one problem with this though. It'll put you in the exact same position that you are facing. So you end up being stuck in scenarios just like this. And because of that, when it comes to choosing a circuit, you can choose circuits that don't have sharp corners, because you don't want this to happen. And speaking of tracks, now there are roughly 22 tracks in total. This will range from docks, highways, forests, industrial areas and cities. The cities being my favourite because the background is very detailed and looks like it's alive. You also get different time zones, well mainly 3, thus dawn and nighttime, no daytime racing. And that's the random part of the game. What's also random is the zombies. Or rather the special infected, should I say. For instance, take this green blob which will make you lose control. Maybe you want the COVID bats that will ruin your vision. Or how about a plant that screams and will slow you down for no fucking reason at all. But it does spawn a bunch of zombies, and hitting zombies does build up your nitro, so kudos to that. Now when it comes to the actual racing, or the combat rather should I say, it is fun. There is just stuff happening at everyone's screen. Things are blowing up. It's fast. I absolutely love it. The one thing I have to give this game credit for is that AI is very aggressive and will always attack you, and I love that. Makes it feel alive. Another thing that AI is good at is rubber banding. If you look at the bottom left radar, you'll see I get caught up very quickly, and I have one of the fastest cars in the game. I mean, it does make the action continuous, if anything, but be warned. Now when it comes to the combat, you can only equip yourself with one weapon. Unlike other games of this genre, usually when you go to a pickup, you get a different type of weapon. This one will only give you ammo. If you look at the speedo, just underneath it, you'll see the weapon. On the right, you'll see the number, and you see the amount of times you can actually fire the weapon. Another nice feature is, unlike other games, the computer can't steal your pickups, which means they'll happily go through it and you can still pick it up afterwards. Now when it comes to weapons, you do get a bit of variety-ish, kinda, shall we say? I mean, you do get your miniguns, you can get a turret, automatic machine gun. I mean, it does fire bullets, but you do it differently. You get manual versions. This includes explosives as well. So you can get rockets, missiles, multi-launchers, airstrikes-ish, well more artillery strike if anything, should I say. But at the end of the day, when you're blowing cars up, it's beautiful. Especially when it goes into slow motion. That's when the game gets real fun. Now for those of you out there that like to collect your platinum trophies, this one's quite nice to add to your collection. Well, one being it's only 19 hours, and the second one being it's actually quite easy. It's more tedious miscellaneous trophies. So the one you have to watch out for from the get-go is defeating a certain police car 500 times, as this police car mainly spawns in the first couple of rounds. Anything higher and you'll barely see it. But overall, yeah, it's a fun play platinum. Now would I recommend this game? Yes-ish, kinda? Probably in the future. In all honesty, the problem with this game is that it is a great and fun game, it's just that there's not much to it. But also, the physics are kind of shit, should I say. So in all honesty, your best bet is to wait for this to go on sale, and just follow any news that this game has about whether they fix the physics or anything like that. Problem is, it's a great fun game, it's just not a great Carmageddon game. I mean, I understand why they put the name Carmageddon, otherwise it probably wouldn't have sold. But that's just my opinion. I'll leave you now with footage of a race, and well, you can decide for yourself, because as we all know, fun is subjective. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!